Thank you so much. To the dead.
To officially start the program of the day by the singing of the national anthem. Thank you so much. You may be seated. A beautiful day. Beautiful, njengomnikazi wayo. A day where we ought to live and strive for freedom in this country. Thank you very much thank you so much to the crew for leading us with the national anthem. It is now a pleasure for me to call upon someone who is going to tell us why we are here and welcome us. Now my job is very easy today. Those who attend meetings elsewhere in the home that most of us belong to know and understand that you only point at hands when you're given this opportunity. So I'm like the chairperson. I'll be only pointing at honorable speakers here to come and speak. So it's a pleasure for me to call upon MEC Mani Luciti to come forward and welcome us and also indicate why we are here today. As she is coming here, and this is the last one. Unegama lesixhosa umtondo we-Executive Council cela simpheni izandla. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Of it. Greetings to the Honorable Premier, the Honorable Mayor, or his representative, Ifukona, to the Diedericks family, to the guests, honorable members, MECs, and all our social partners. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed here today as we are closing off the Women's Month. Umsitho wokuthiya ngokutsha kwendlu yombuso sikwanika imbeko kwisithwalandwe umama Lillian Diedericks. I don't know, this podium is taller than me, apparently. Well, really, Program Director, my role here today is to formally welcome everyone in attendance at this important ceremony of the renaming of the State House of the Government of the Eastern Cape. In doing so, it's important that I firstly point out the essence of renaming of our geographical spaces and facilities. We do this on the basis of contributing to nation building and social cohesion. In this process of renaming, we are conscious and actively reclaiming our heritage, cultural identity within the spirit of unity, so that we can build a cohesive society. The renaming process is also important to shine a light on the role played by our leaders, who should influence all of us to emulate their values as we strive to build the Eastern Cape we want. Moreover, this process should also contribute to the strengthening of the Eastern Cape brand as the home of legend. Indeed, Lillian Diedericks, a South African activist known as the founding member of the Federation of South African Women, is one of our legends. Lillian Diedericks should not only be remembered as one of the 4 women who led the Women's March on the Union buildings to oppose the past laws in 1956, but we should also remember her as a trade union activist, a leader of the South African Trade Union, and the member of the South African Communist Party. We want our children to learn of how, after a protest against the mayor of Port Elizabeth, Mama Diedericks was arrested for treason, along with Francis Portman, Florence Matomela. Premier, as we rename the State House after Mama Diedericks, we are at the same time immortalizing her and ensuring that she will not be forgotten. Her work and her life will continue to inspire young women in South Africa until time immemorial. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC, for such a wonderful word of welcome and really telling us why today we are here. And as you were standing here and complaining that this podium is taller than you, I was thinking, yes, cause xa kunje komanzi kunjani komileyo. Yabona lo muntu ebeka nepodium apha ne funa udliwa. We ought to, because of COVID-19, and I think I should have indicated house rules, the bathrooms, anyone needs to relieve themselves. 2 hours is a very long period. Are opposite in that building that we are going to rename. You are required at all times to always wear your mask, unless you are speaking from this side. I think I am getting used to the mic because I am not even taking it off. Always wear your mask, social distance, and from time to time there will be officials that are doing the rounds to sanitize you. Today is very beautiful, and it is a collaboration of the legislature as well as the executive, and as a great stakeholder, as an important stakeholder, the Women's Caucus that values the fight, the toil, the tenacity of the women who walked before us, is here today to give a message of support
on this very important occasion, as has been indicated by MEC Mani Lucid. I will now call upon the chairperson of the Women's Caucus, Honorable Mamu Fanta, to come and give a message of support. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for my almost twin Usis Buki, because I am old now, I can call you guys Sisi, to come and take the photo.
Members of Parliament of Eastern Cape, multi-party women's caucus, all members of the multi-party caucus, Chapter 9 institutions, if they are available, men's formation. As we celebrate Women's Month, we just cannot leave out the men's formation because we are in a mess in our country because of a boy child. Special guest, Mama Lillian Diedericks, our veteran, we thank you. All the stakeholders present. Today I greet you all in the name of Mama Sharat Matleke, the torchbearer of women's rights. I greet you all in the name of 1956 Women's March that paved way for us, of which Mama Lillian Diedericks was one of them. We are proud as Eastern Cape. Mama Sophie was there as a leader. Mama Lillian Diedericks was there as a leader. Special greetings to special partners there too, as Botata, as we traverse this very difficult road as women of being killed, of being murdered, of being abused by the people that are supposed to love us. When God created man, he said, this is bone of your bone, love her. Unfortunately, the men are our murderers. Greetings all the women in mud colors in the name of suffering atrocities, especially during August months and 16 days. We remember Dr. Alan Patton who says, cry, beloved country. Year 921 is set aside to remember and commemorate the life of Mama Matleke, known as the Month of the Black Freedom in South Africa, everyone's friends and no one's enemy. That is a woman, yet we mourn the death as a result of a brutal, gruesome killing of our beacon of light, Nosicelo Tibin. A lawyer would assist in the rights of women Mama Matleke believed in and lived for. We have been robbed a cadre. We have been robbed a lawyer. We have been robbed a judge as this province. And we are saying you are worried for what is happening and where we are going. In the same Matatiela, Honorable Mayor, 86-year-old Mama Gwagwankau was also murdered. Another woman, a 60-year-old, was also raped and murdered. There is a problem with Matatiela. About 6 people already. Hence, I am crying for President to come down. I am crying for President to come down to attend the funeral of Nostelo, as she attended the funeral of Oyinene. Oyinene, who is coming from at least a very better family, where there are professors and doctors. But Nosicelo is coming from a very humble and poor family, out of a broken family, who came out of the marriage of an abuser, who is the father of Nostelo. Unfortunately, right now, whilst we are preparing for the funeral of Nostelo, she is not in her home where in a maternal home yakhe with the husband yakhe. She's staying somewhere because of the relationship that was not good. The father has got another wife. The road that we're traveling as women, you bring in this beautiful world a roses, a beautiful girl, but to be murdered in this way. As we celebrate Umama Diedericks, we are humbled. A very cheeky one. A very cheeky one. Hey, you know, when you must tread careful when you are dealing with her. She could just look at you and keep quiet. But we love her and we appreciate her. We remember Omama Trina, we remember Omama Tomela. We say thank you for their leadership. Thank you for their hard road that they travel. For us today, singles as young as we are called Honorable MSc. Young as we are, Omama Payen was the program director, who are now called Honorable MSCs. It's because of the rough road they traveled, Omama Lillian Diedericks. We thank you, her family, for allowing her and say, go well, go share. Because if you didn't support her, maybe she couldn't manage. But because of her family that managed to be with her, and even this difficult time, now she's what's cheeky now that she's old. You must tread careful even if you want to go and visit her. As a result, I simply ask Comrade H, can you please pass our greetings? We know her, I'm sure she's worse to be cheeky now, but we love her. We really love her. We say thank you. Amanda!
Thank you so much. The podium is now shorter than me, so we're moving along. Thank you so much, Mama Fanta, for the wonderful speech on behalf of the Women's Caucus. We are called the home of the legends because we are legendary. We are legendary because if imisebenzi eyenziwe ngomama uLillian, ngomama uDiedericks, ngomama uWinnie Madikizela-Mandela nabanye. And as I am sitting next to that banner, I am reminded that we are called the home of the legends because those who went before us did legendary things. But we are also called the home of the legends because we are a hub that creates top leaders. In our midst, we have a member of the Parliament, the National Assembly, who has been given a responsibility of being chair of chairs because he comes from the home of the legends and he is legendary. You can't be given a responsibility, such a huge responsibility, to be the chairperson of other chairpersons if you don't come from the home of the legends and you are not legendary. Ladies and gentlemen, in our midst, we have Honorable Cedric Frolick, who will be giving a message of support on behalf of the National Assembly and the NCOP. Honorable Frolick Cedrics, please take the stage. Put your hands together for him as he comes up.
No, thank you, Program Director. I want to recognize the Honorable Premier and members of the Executive Council of the Province of the Eastern Cape. I also want to recognize the other members of the Provincial Legislature, as well as other MPs who may still arrive. I also want to recognize especially the family of Mama Lily. I'm quite sure she would have loved to be here today. But you know, it's quite an achievement to achieve a very high age. And my mother learned me and she said, you must never say how old a woman is. But Lily has reached a very, very high and special age that some of us, I think it will be very difficult to emulate. Also to all comrades and friends who are present, I want to thank you for the opportunity. I joked with the Premier when he was making his way in to say that I'm wearing my ANC colors today because I'm not a member of the executive either here in the province or at national, and today is Constituency Day. So it's a special Constituency Day for us to have this event in honor of Mama Lillian. The significance of this occasion cannot be underestimated. Not only is it happening during Women's Month, but it happens also during a period where we are faced with the increased incidence of femicide, gender-based violence that are occurring in the country. And although there are significant pieces of legislation that we've put on the books, it has not yet translated into concrete action to address these incidents. These are the issues that molded the women, amongst other, to take up the historic march in 1956 to the Union buildings. These are the issues that they, as community workers, as trade union representatives, and just as ordinary people, women thought that they must take up with the government of the day. And also to ensure that we put in place a government, democratic government, that is responsive to the needs of our people. I fondly recall the numerous visits that I've had to the household of Mama Lily. And late last year when we were there and the daughter Eugene was there, we sat there for more than 2 hours because, you see, when you realize you're sitting with a veteran, you're sitting at the foot of a tree and you must consume what they are saying to you. And she was very straightforward, frank, on the state of the ANC and also the way things are going in the country. And that honesty and sincerity is a hallmark of her legacy that she will leave behind. History has no blank pages. History has no blank pages. Now, very often, when we look at that photo of the historic march to the Union buildings in 1956, there's 4 women. 4 women are shown out of the more than 20,000 that were there. The one is Mama Sophie de Bruin, the other one is Mama Lillian Ngoy, Helen Joseph, and Rahima Musa. But then we came across, a few years ago, another photo that had 5 women in the front. 5. And I've got the photo here, I'll share it with you later. And that 5th woman was Mama Lily that was there, in that leadership contingent that was there. However, Mama Lily never ever claimed and said that I have not been recognized like the other 4. She continued with her work and with her loyalty towards the cause of women and of all South Africans, of all races in general. And that's why a friendship circle also displays that. I move from the premise and firm understanding, and I'm a firm proponent of it as well, that women's rights are human rights. Women's rights are human rights. I thus want to congratulate the Honorable Premier and his executive for this outstanding occasion, because it's inclusive and it portrays the history not only of the African National Congress but of this country, in pursuing a non-racial, a non-sexist, a democratic and prosperous South Africa. Indeed, Program Director, we are in and from the home of legends, because we are standing on the shoulders of giants, such as Mama Lillian Diedericks. Thank you very much.
Aunt Lily. Thank you very much, Honorable Frolic. Uthi xa ithetha ngaye uthi ngu-Aunt Lily. So you know umntu unendlela aziwa ngazo ngabantu bakhe, and there are ways abambiza ngazo. Thank you so much for those wise words. Hey, ndizanibaleka ke ngoku apha, because as you know, we live in a digitized world now, and there is no event where there is no digital platform that is utilized. So we have come to a point where we are supposed to be viewing some of the work that Umama Diedericks has done For those at home that are watching us live, some of them maybe don't even know her. Honorable Frolic here said, when there were pictures that were posted or shown around at a certain time, she was not in the picture. But later on, the pictures then surfaced, and she never complained. So it is possible that kukhona abantu abangamaziyo bangazange bambona who don't know who she is and what she has done. So we are now going to move for those that are watching at home and those that are younger than me who don't know who Mamu Diedericks is, so that they can be able to know her even better. Can the crew take us through the audio-visual presentation on Mamu Diedericks? Thank you. Over to you.
Who is Lillian Diedericks, you ask? Mama Lillian Jacoba Diedericks, born on the 17th of December 1925 in Red Location, New Brighton, in Gqeberha, formerly known as Port Elizabeth. During the forced removals, Mama Lillian, along with her family, was relocated to Chowderville. By the age of 13, she had to leave school to work. Started out as a domestic worker to white English employers, her employers at the time recognized her potential and taught her to type, file, and do some bookkeeping. They also encouraged her to read. As a result, their library became her school. During the 1950s, she became very active and involved in labor-related activities, particularly with the Food and Canning Workers Union. In 1954, she was among the delegates who attended the National FEDSAW Conference. Fluent in English, Afrikaans, and isiXhosa, these linguistic abilities enabled her to achieve great success in her activist role. In 1956, she was elected to represent the Eastern Province Women's League to head the iconic march to the Union buildings in Pretoria to protest against the past laws. Aunt Lily, along with Mama Lillian Ngoyi, Helen Joseph, Rahima Musa, and Sophie de Bruyn, formed the front row of about 20,000 women who participated in the march. After a protest march against the mayor of the then Port Elizabeth in 1956, Mama Lillian was arrested for treason, along with Frances Bard, Florence Matomela, and various other women. They were imprisoned at the Fort Prison in Johannesburg and were acquitted in 1961. For a long time, Mama Lillian went underground, and during this period, she worked as a domestic worker in Cape Town. During a stint underground, she was together with Govan Mbeki and Umrei Raymond Mhlaba. Her political activities were recognized with an award in 1996, presented to her by the late former President Nelson Mandela at the same union buildings where she and her fellow protesters were turned away 40 years prior. In 2011, she and other struggle heroes were honored by the Nelson Mandela Bay municipality. In 2018, President Cyril Ramaphosa presented her with the Order of Luthuli in silver, the highest national order which the country bestows upon its citizens. Today, the State House in Bisho, which is the seat of Eastern Cape Provincial Government, is being renamed after Mama Lillian Diedericks in recognition of her contribution to the liberation of our country. Halala Mbokodo, halala. Today, we stand on your giant shoulders and enjoy the freedom you fought for. We honor you for your selflessness and will forever cherish you for sacrificing your life in the name of liberation for your people. This is your legacy, and we intend to keep it alive in our deeds and our way of life, building the Eastern Cape that you and other struggle stalwarts dreamed of and fought hard for. Building the Eastern Cape we want.
Can we give another round of applause for that beautiful story? What a living legend. What a living legend. Allah Lambogoto, Allah. I do not want to waste time, and I don't want, that audio-visual clip was just a beautiful transition to what the Honorable Premier is going to say. So, Mandingabisawa Kloba. And at this time, call upon the Honorable Premier of the Province of the Eastern Cape, Lubabalo Oskamabuyan, to come and address us. Over to you, Honorable Premier.
Ibikhona indawo ekhefuzelisayo kubantu abazapha. Kanti bendizibuza uba inoba ikude kakhulu nale ndawo. Ngoku umuntu ufika sekhefuzela. Thank you very much. Program Director, MEC or Honorable MEC Nkomonye. Greetings to all members of the Executive Council present here today. Special greetings goes to the Honorable MPs and MPLs present, the Director General and the other HODs, the veterans of our struggle, or Mam Nondwe, Mam Tipuo, and the Chair and the Secretary of the Veterans League in our province. Our honored guests today, the Diedericks family, Sis Eugene, and the granddaughters, and the distinguished guests and the members of the media present. Molweni, good morning. Goeie More Alma, Deputy Chief Whip. Indeed, today is a good morning, a morning in which we are honoring one of our own, a true revolutionary and a leader of our people par excellence. So much has been said about Umama Lillian Diedericks. I'm also happy that her ward, her branch, also leadership is here. There was a demand that the branch must come. She is grounded. She is grounded. From an early age, Umama Diedericks was exposed to brutal, racist, and repugnant regimes of past years when her family fell victim to laws of forced removals, as it was said here. At the tender age of 13 years old, she was already working as a domestic worker to white families, but unfortunately, the apartheid regime saw nothing wrong with the child labor. Because she was not the kind of a person who turned a blind eye to social issues and injustices, Mamu Diedericks dedicated her life to the betterment of all. Because of her activism, she became heavily involved in the labor movement in the 1950s. As you would imagine, our parents were treated as second-class citizens at the time with no rights in the eyes of the government of the day. But Mama Lillian Diedericks and other brave fighters said not in their name and fought tooth and nail. Then in 1956, she was one of the women who led the historic Women's March on August the 9th to demand an end to past laws. She was the beginning of an end for the repressive past laws as campaigns against past laws intensifies in the following years. Sadly, thousands of women were slaughtered by the murderous apartheid regime, which did not value human life, or should I say black lives. To them, black lives did not matter, and the regime did not hesitate to brutalize and killing black women, or black people in general. But Mama Lillian and her generation never relented and fought tirelessly for years. They took us to the promised land and freed us from the bondages of the violation against humanity that was the apartheid regime. The freedom we are enjoying today, which some of us take it for granted, was hard-won because many people paid the heavy price. Today we are celebrating the daughter of the soil, a gallant fighter who never betrayed the cause of the freedom. When we commemorate August the 9th public holiday in our country, we do so to celebrate the courageous actions of Umama Lillian Diedericks and other leaders of the 1956 detachment. We often make the mistakes of celebrating our heroes and heroines when they are no longer living. That must change. People should get their accolades while they are still alive. I'm happy that we are seeing this ngomama. A lot has been said, a lot has been done ngomama to recognize her contribution. And in the process, some mistakes are also made, which we commit that those mistakes will definitely be corrected. It gives me a great joy that Umama Lillian Diedericks is a recipient of the National Order of Luthuli in silver, one of the highest honors our country bestows on its citizens. We want you, Mama Lillian, to know that we appreciate and value you for what you have done for our country. Your sacrifices and suffering at the hands of the brutal apartheid regime was not in vain. The 27 years of democracy that we are in was achieved through the toil of your generation. We've seen a lot of good work in the 27 years of the ANC-led government in terms of developing our country with all the challenges that we have experienced. Also, we're seeing a lot that is being done in our province and our communities, but a lot more work remains. Kuthiwa umzamo omhle siyawuzama kodwa ugqatso asikaze ulufeza. We have also made terrible mistakes that have injured our reputation in the eyes of our stalwarts and the public. We are on a renewal path to restore our reputation. Today, as the province of your own birth, Mama, we are officially throwing into the dustbin of the history the name Bishop State House, as we officially rename it Lillian Diedericks House. Bishop State House was synonymous with the repressive Ciskei homeland regime, which was the offspring of the apartheid regime. The Bishop massacre was cooked in this state house. Some of the soldiers of the Ciskei Defense Force who shot senselessly on peaceful demonstrators on the fateful day of September the 7th in 1992 were standing on the gates of this building. The name Bishop State House reminds us about our painful struggle for freedom. By renaming this building Lillian Diedericks House, we want it to be synonymous with selfless service, humility, commitment, progress, and accountability. We will one day die, but this Lillian Diedericks House will remain. Our children will ask Lillian Diedericks, will ask who Lillian Diedericks was, and they will learn about her life story as their true heroine. This is our way of preserving your name, Mama, for your selfless service and sacrifice you've made for us to be free. Your name will live forever, be mentioned amongst amaqhawe esizwe afana nomama uCharlotte Maxeke, omama uMatomela, otata uMandela, omama uAlbertina Sisulu namanye amaqhawe namathandazwe ezwela kwethu. Today is more than just a renaming building. It is a symbolic gesture that also contributes to our transformation agenda. Comrade Frolic captured this nicely, that we are in pursuit of this united, non-sexist, non-racial, democratic and prosperous country. That's the agenda that makes us to be involved in the struggle for a complete liberation of our people. Kodwa ke njengokuba besibonile eGqeberha xa bekutshintshwa elagama lalandoda who decided to name lamhlaba waseGqeberha after his wife, Lady Elizabeth. Basoloko bekhona abaphikisayo. That is the beauty of a democracy. Those who vehemently oppose transformation and redressing past injustices will always talk about how expensive it is to change names. This is not something we can put a rand value on because its symbolism is a way more than a monetary value. We are protecting a heritage with these name changes. So lilonga sizuma sizawuqhubeka. Lamagama enika intsingiselo khona ukuze umzila wenkululeko ucace waziwe ngabantu bakuthi. As we have come to know, anti-transformation agents will always find black people whom they will use to oppose transformation. Some of the cynical questions people raise are, what is in a name? Why can't we use the money to fix roads and deliver services? That is asked by people who have conveniently forgot that most of the names we are changing were initially changed without consultation. But as a democratic government, we exhaust democratic processes with each renaming project. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to make it clear that we should not and must not be apologetic for honoring our heroes and heroines like Umama Lillian, because we owe them a debt we could never repay. She belongs to a class of special people, ovuka ibambe, omafunga angajiki, ovulindlela, a generation of truly principled, disciplined, and dedicated cadres of our movement. She truly is one of the very few people of that breed of cadres who are still alive. Ukhalityalo uba usaphila. Xa kuthethwa ngabantu abasaphilayo, the leaders of 1956, regrettable, some people forget that she's still alive. She's still alive. She is actually 95 years old. And I was told that in December she will be turning 96 years old. So it's important that we know and we always correct some of these distortions when they happen, including that picture which creates this problem. It's a similar issue with Cradle 4. Same complaint, same concern. I know MEC Diedericks, she's attending to that. We need to correct the history. History must be correctly recorded. She was a leader of Eastern Cape delegation, Umama Lillian Diedericks. Those who are now said to be leaders were not necessarily leaders. She was actually the leader in that. So that must be corrected. I know some mistakes have been made where her name would probably be left out. So we'll be talking to the Minister of Arts and Culture and MEC Diedericks so that we follow up that from a government point of view to make sure that that is actually restored and corrected. Now, 65 years, women are not being oppressed by the government, nor are they forced to carry dom passes, but they face another evil, the gender-based violence and femicide that has been spoken about here. We still have not recovered from the unnecessary killing and decapitation of University of Fort Hare fourth-year law student, Nostelo Mtebeni, 2 weeks ago that Umama Chairperson, where Women's Caucus spoke about here earlier, Honorable Fanta. Diavuma, Honorable Fanta, that we need president, we need that. I can tell you though, that president cannot be all over the country when this problem continue unabating. This problem need us in our bedrooms, need us in our household, need us on our streets, on our wards, in our local spaces, district, etc. Yes, it's important, but I can tell you, there are some gruesome killings that are happening every day that are not reported, as you have mentioned, in actually Alfred Nzo. I saw a list, not only in Matatiele, in Alfred Nzo, a list of women who are actually being killed. Before we started this program, MEC Ngata, he was saying he's not going to finish this program because here, just a stone thrown away from where we are, another woman has been killed by her husband, stabbed to death. You can imagine the situation that our country finds itself in. Whether we can triple police, it looks like we've got a serious problem in our hands, because you can't have police to be policing husband and a wife in their bedroom. Something completely wrong with the society that we are living in. Something must change, something must give. So we've got to work together to hit hard on this terrible situation that we find ourselves. All this mirrors the kind of society we are in. The government is a microcosm of the society at large. What we see, government alone cannot fight it successfully. So we'll try to make the plea that women are making in our province. But I can tell you, President was here in 2018 in Lusikisiki, launching this same program. A lot of work is being done to make sure that we catch up. A lot of these incidences are being reported. We're happy when we see them being reported, because the problem is to see them not being reported and women dying every day, girl child being destroyed every day. So what we have seen with Unoscelo is terrible. It should not happen, especially in a country that claims to be a country made up of a high percentage of Christians, with more than 80% in South Africa claiming to be Christians. We should not be having things like those. Absolutely. There is something that is not going right at all. In the same period, we also heard shocking news about the fatal shooting of our dearly departed sister and a servant of our people, Miss Babita Dokaran, who was the acting CFO in the Gauteng Department of Health. Both these heinous crimes happened during the Women's Month, a period we should be celebrating amanina, ne-struggle amanina ate akuso ukukhulula eli lizwe. Umama Lillian Diedericks and the 20,000 other women didn't take a stand against the brutal apartheid regime so that their children and grandchildren could be brutalized today. A week ago, the Minister of Police released the crime stats for Q1 of 2021-2022. He said 10,000 women have been raped between April and June this year. This is the gravity of gender-based violence in our country, and these inhumane crimes are committed by men who should be protectors of women. Mama Lillian and her generation fought apartheid so that we could be all live in a free and a safe country. We must all work for a society where women are safe. Renaming this building is the least we can do for eliqhawekazi lomzabalazo. Kodwa, ending gender-based violence and femicide scourge and other socio-economic challenges that are faced by women would be a great way of honoring Umama Lillian Diedericks and her class of brave women. As the Eastern Cape government, we are of the firm view that women empowerment can truly be a game changer to achieve socio-economic transformation. It is therefore important to ensure that more women are appointed in positions of power in the provincial executive and across all spheres of government. We are now coming closer to the national local government election, and we must ensure that more women are appointed as councillors and occupy strategic positions in the council chambers. Ma'am Lillian, I want to assure you that as Eastern Cape government, we are not paying lip service when we talk about women empowerment and recognition of their talent. We are honestly and truly walking the talk on this one. Before I sit down, Program Director, I want to thank Umama, Lillian and the family for the contribution the family has made and the sacrifice. I want to thank Umama for her fight against injustices of the past. We will forever be grateful to you, Mama, for the role you played. We are here today because of your sacrifices. We honor you and all other women that worked with you. In you, we see many other unsung heroes and heroines that probably have not yet been recognized. We are going throughout, in the next few weeks, we'll be back in PE, renaming some of buildings again. Ngomama baseBhayi abathe bathatha ugxathu olukhulu, omama bafana nomama Majola. The social development department there will be renamed after Umama Majola, who recently departed. These are government buildings, so government must actually really resonate with history and the kind of the liberation route we would want to see and actually inscribe in the minds of our young children. In conclusion, I want to challenge our creatives, historians, and authors to ensure we tell our own stories. We need to tell our authentic South African stories. Lanto kuthiwa history is told by the conquerors, ayisebenzi anymore ngoku. Kuba oyisileyo ubhala history ngolu hlobo oyise ngalo. That's why Sinez fought Dondon. If you talk about this land of dispossession, the frontier wars, fought Fort Cox, etc. That's how they were capturing the history, so that we understand as if that was a correct way to tell our history. I'm happy, Ms. Ngata, that this year we will be doing an inaugural memorial lecture on the wars of dispossession, the frontier wars. For the first time in the history, to be in line with what we are saying, that our traditional leaders were there before our political parties were there, and they fought these battles. We've got to give the recognition where it is due. We need all these historians to help us in that, and all the creatives. I'm happy with what I've seen, MEC, Nkomonye, Dr. Potelo Aseforte, immediately, the work that they've done on Unoscelo and others, doing those graphics. We're quite happy with that. We need more of those creatives to come forward, and government must find a way of working with them to support that, so that they can indeed help us basukole the history ngendlela right. Therefore, we need to record our history so that no one will wipe us out. Yabona mose nomadics nazo, wherever they were, when they sit there, they would write. Even today, when we are kulami kolomba, ufika ubona babeke bakhona apha abantu bebehlala babhalile bashiya izinto ezingacimiyo nanamhlanje. Therefore, we need to record our history so that no one will wipe us out. If we don't properly record our history, you would find a situation whereby the 1956 march would be erased in 100 or 200 years from now. This means we need books, documentaries, and films about Mama, Lillian, and other heroines of our struggle. I'm happy the documentary which was played here was done in-house. It was not done outside. It was done by that young lady. Can she stand up? She's working in the office of the Premier. So that kind of work is important to be recognized so that we motivate them as they move forward. Xa ndihlala phantsi ke ngoku na okokugqibela yile nto ke sijongane nayo ye-COVID. Just to remind you, please, let's continue sticking to our non-pharmaceutical intervention. Ndiyaqonda beningazohlala phantsi u-MEC wakwa-health elapha athi andithethanga nto ngale nto. Today we have more than 16,000 active cases as a province. We are averaging at about, now for the last 2-3 days, averaging at about 1,200 daily infection rate. That tells you we currently at about 88% recovery rate. The more that recovery rate, the more numbers grow up, the more people are going to hospital. The more people are going into the ICUs, etc., the more people need oxygen, the more people need bed. But if we are able to really disrupt this transmission and the movement of COVID-19 virus, we are able to stay free and lessen the pressure that our health system normally finds itself. So we're still appealing to our people to understand that COVID is still here, it is still with us, and it is actually disastrous, still catastrophic, still killing our people. We are seeing numbers growing up almost now on daily basis of people who are succumbing to COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like also to call on those who have not vaccinated for COVID-19, particularly men, to come forward and get the jab so that we can stand a better chance of getting our economy back on its feet. I want to congratulate the Department of Health. I think the energy that has been put in there, the impetus that we are seeing, the creativity. But I think the creativity that comes in there, we're seeing those kind of malls work that is done, MEC leading the team, the detachment, HOD on the ground, and our people are vaccinating. But we've got concern about men. I wonder, Ongela Madoda Lapana are vaccinating. In the pharmacy, we busy program, Kamamulere, and said, I'm going to vaccinate one. Papa, when the Basuku vaccinated, Laufununga. Sabatella Bandabangotata, Mabame Nyao. Imfazwe le. Imfazwe, ifuna majoni. Amajoni ke siyabathanda otata babona bese majonini bekhokela kwimeko enjengale. So siyabacela omama balithathile elidaba and bayalidudula elidaba. Omama baya vaccinatewa ngobuninzi babo. Siyabacela otata. Now that we are vaccinating the younger generation, most of those young boys, role models are ngotata. If otata aba vaccinate, there will be no need for a young boy in your own household to go and vaccinate. So now that we are vaccinating the age 18 and upwards, we really want to plead, utata makathatha umntana wakhe ahambe nabantwana bakhe. Let's make it fashionable. Go and vaccinate, because if we have more people vaccinated to actually achieve our herd immunity, that will help us to lessen. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are not going to be infected by COVID. You will still be infected, but chances that you will fall sick, chances that you will go to hospital will be much more lesser. That's the science behind this. So our plea to say people must be vaccinated is actually informed by that. Let's demystify all these lies, perceptions that are created about vaccines. There is no such. I've listened to news clips, people talking about all the theories, unfounded theories, conspiracy theories around vaccine. There is no such. We are all vaccinated. I've vaccinated myself. I'm waiting for my second jab. I think in a week's time, I'm going for my second jab for vaccination. My life is normal. Life continues. Men must go out and vaccinate. We really appeal to all men out there to go and vaccinate. The sooner we all get vaccinated, the sooner we will go back to our pre-COVID life. Sifuna ubomi bethu bube normal. Sifuna abantu babheke ezibholeni, ezistadium, kube mnandi, abantu bonwabe, abantu baye kwi-music shows, kube right, ubomi bethu bubuyele esiqhelweni. So this part of our psychosocial support that we need to normalize the life that we're living. Until then, let's continue wearing masks, wash hands, and practice social distancing. We all must play a role in building the Eastern Cape we want, a thriving Eastern Cape. I thank you.
Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Honorable Premier. Indeed, these are our stories, and our stories ought to be told by ourselves. The story of Mamu Lillian Diedericks is an inspirational one, and I am hoping that her values will be etched in our hearts as she continues to live with us, and that we will continuously go visit her for wisdom and continuously visit her so that we may draw strength from how she has lived a very beautiful life. Siyabulela kakhulu, Honorable Premier, ngamazwi akho. We will now request a family member that has been appointed by the family to come and share a few words on behalf of the family. Ladies and gentlemen, put your heads together for, shall I say, Miss Diedericks, because I don't know whether you are married and have another surname. Put your heads together for her. Izake ndodakazi, izake ntombam. Because intanga zethu wena Lillian Diedericks sizabalaza sonke. Yadlala yona.
Good morning, everybody. Because of my length, I know I never fit behind those things, so I never stand there. I am the last born of Mama Lillian Diedericks. 2 daughters. Firstborn, Mavis, she passed on, and I'm the last born, Eugene, Mrs. Plankis, Nee Bailey. I need to do this before I go forth with thanking, just to introduce the 2 daughters of my late sister. On my right-hand side, I have Renee Botha, who's the eldest of the grandchildren. And on my left-hand side, I have Leanne Mentor, who is not the youngest, but second youngest of the grandchildren. What is very important, if you look around at our entourage today, is that we're only women because of Women's Month. We do not have a gentleman present. We have the 2 veterans here. And again, I know it was spoken of Mama Nondwe, as I say, Auntie Nondwe, but when I opened my eyes, she was there. And she's still here. All these years being supportive of my mom and the role she has played. Over there, my friend who's also in the department, and she is Dr. Glennis Peterson, and she decided that she will join me today to be my support. With that said, let's get to me showing my gratitude. At first, I need to thank the Premier for really doing this. The talk started 2 years prior. This was supposed to be done last year. It didn't transpire, but he kept his word. Therefore, it's happening today. I thank you, sir. All the other role players, and they are too many to mention, that were part of this. I heard most of the speakers who actually went to see my mom said how difficult it is because she is a difficult person. I will rephrase the difficult in saying she's a no-nonsense person. It sounds much better than difficult. She's a no-nonsense person, and she doesn't take kindly to speaking over and over the same thing and nothing transpired. She doesn't have a lot of patience when it comes to that. Thank you for today. Thank you especially for the facts that has been rectified. Thank you that it was mentioned it is 5 ladies and not 4. Miss Program Director, where are you? Just give me a show. Ms. Program Director, sorry, I'm an ex-educator, so I need to read again for you, because you said 4 and not 5. And I know the narrative behind the 4 is, we heard about 4 for so long, so it's very difficult to come to the 5. So we need to get 5 in our narrative now. 5 women. What about the 5 women, for me, stands out is that this society of ours, this democratic society, where we do not have race. If you look at the picture of the 5 women, you will find flanked on the sides are the 2 so-called colored ladies. And then in the middle, you will see our Indian lady, Rahima Musa. You will see our so-called black lady, and actually the voice of the women on that day, Mama Lillian Diedericks. And then you will see the so-called white part, who was Helen Joseph. So they were represented then. They were united then. What is it that is making it so difficult for us women to unite? Because we still have this thing. We know our society is entrenched in patriarchy. We know that. But we also know that our women, we're not standing on the sidelines and cheering on the other women as they go forward, as they take in important positions. We do not do that. And as it is Women's Month, my message to you is the following, imploring you as a woman, do not backstab the other women. Lift them up. Keep their arms up. And as we say, their crown, fix their crown. And they like to say this, if there is lipstick on the teeth, tell them about it so that they can remove the lipstick. That is my message to the women. When it comes to the men, I'm going to start with the women first. Mothers, teach your sons how to treat a woman. It's because they don't know how to treat a woman that we have these atrocities that are happening. When it comes to the men, the fathers, or must I say absent fathers, because most of this is because of absent fathers. Let me ask the men to step up. If there are no father, and it's in your family, step up as a family. Show that young boy how he's supposed to treat a woman. Then we will have less killings of our women. And with that, I thank you.
Another round of applause, please. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I am hoping that those who are able to translate will humbly do so for me. Literally translated, I think it says the leaf does not fall far off from the tree. But yeah, I think I tried. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for telling us that today we are here to honor a no-nonsense woman. And I personally want her to stay like that and not be patient with us. Because if she becomes patient with us, she will talk, and will not act on the things she is saying. Had he not been a no-nonsense woman, maybe we would not be here today. And for that, we thank her so much. Thank you, family, for borrowing us, your mother. Thank you so much. It is now time for us to wrap up here because we will be going elsewhere. we will be taking a walk. Let's take a walk. Oh, Madanatu. Mantaleke, Gokukhulu Zithoba, Honorable Duba, who is the Deputy Chair of Chairs in the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature, to come and do the vote of thanks, and after him I will then give you a direction about where we will be going after this. Over to you, Honorable Duba.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Mhlawumbi masivume into yoba Premier le podium yenzelwe wona sonke apha abantu abafutshane. Sinecaleni. No, thank you very much. Greetings to the Premier and the member of the Executive as gone up, and greetings to members of Parliament, the House Chair in the National Assembly. Greetings to the veterans, greetings to the family, and greetings to the leadership of the ANC as led by Osihlalo in the Nelson Mandela Metro Comrade Ufako. Greetings to ODG and also the officials that are with him in the Premier's office. Premier, I'm going to be very short. Firstly, let me appreciate on behalf of the legislature the commitment that you have made and delivered. There are three things in thanking you and the executive that I want to highlight, probably are the issues that you would want to take home, that I can attribute to Mama Lillian. One, ubuza ngesiXhosa into yoba akukho mntu uqumbileyo na phofu uthoni ngale nto ngoba ndifuna uqumbisa mntu. She's very eloquent in Xhosa. The second one, she says, and she always says that, whenever there is a problem, don't talk to everybody. Thetha nalo mntu uzawulungisa ingxaki. Utsho ke because there is what you call a rubbish opposite his house, or opposite her house. So ndiyafowuna ndifowunele officials kamasipalati. And she then said, don't talk to everybody, talk to the person who's going to fix this. As a no-nonsense person that she is. The third part, and the last one, she says, you must be courageous enough as a person and as a leader to say when you get a position, I don't have the capacity to do it. And she make an example, Ngaye, Uti Premier. Nelson Mandela, the late president, approached her for the position. And she was able to say, hayi Matiba, sodlalanga. Mna I'm just a typist. Andizukwazi ungena kwasisihlalo. It then Premier and the executive talk to what you always say, selfless leader, to always what you encourage. It's something that we can take home about Mama Lillian. It's just a proof that for you to name the State House using Ikamanaki, it's not a mistake. And as a legislature in the Eastern Cape, we thank you very much for that and continue to do the good work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Duba. Another round of applause, please. I think I must commend the officials assembled to be just to have this back. I'm sure they know about Tonga and Honorable Premier with respect to the podium size. Thank you so much, Honorable Diva, for those words. Can I now request, because we have come to the end of this part, can I now request that so that we can go to the painting, and after the painting we will then come back to the building. If we can just all stand, and then the Honorable Premier together with the family will lead the procession, and then honorable members will follow after them. Thank you so much for your time in this one. We will meet up there.
overall.